If you want to keep having your outreach ignored, then you can ignore this video. But if you want to be able to scale and sign dream well clients and go up market, then this video will be absolutely perfect for you. Let's get straight into it. So we can even see here, we said this video is for those who are not having the outreach work like it used to or how they want it to. If you're trying to reach VPs, CROs, CMOs and C-suite people, or if you're competing against vendors using the same AI, same tools, same crap, and quite simply, you're using the same strategies that worked in 2020, but haven't had the same success in 2026. This video will be perfect for you, okay? Cool. So why should you possibly listen to me because you have no idea who I am? So my name is Dan James, and I scaled a content agency to 30K per month since sunsetted that agency, and I have a new offer around creating the most incredible outreach on earth. Awesome. Now I know that's a big claim, so I've got a social proof deck below as well as a bunch of other links for you, and you can see all the things that we've been able to achieve with outreach. So what this video actually is, this is not another 5 tips video. What we're going to do here is we're going to break down exactly how you can actually sign dream well clients, okay? So what actually happens in a senior buyer's mind, where exactly does enterprise outreach die inside the organization, and what does outreach that survives both those filters, how does it go about? How can you actually penetrate through the organization? Awesome. So by the end, you'll understand the anatomy of the outreach and how to go about it effectively rather than just sending the same generic cold emails that everybody's sending, okay? Cool. So first and foremost, we need to go over the anatomy of being ignored. Now, that's probably the first time that sentence has been said in human history. But essentially, this is a very, very important concept to understand, because once you understand this, it will change how you go about outreach, okay? Number one, the 1.7 second verdict, okay? Senior buyers don't decide to ignore you. Their brain decides before they do. So I spoke about this previously. There's a guy called Charlie Morgan, and I used to watch his content back in the day when I first got into business, and he talked about the Burr-Wiz algorithm. And that essentially is that if you see a pattern, your brain will just immediately start to just, how do I phrase this? Will immediately start to compartmentalize it, or shouldn't even say compartmentalize it, but it'll immediately start to categorize it, I should say. And without even you thinking, you've already made a decision around it. The example I like to use is if you walk on the street and you see someone that's covered in dirt and their clothes are tattered, you're going to think they're homeless. You don't know anything about them. They could have more money in their bank account than you, but you're just assuming it because of pattern recognition. So senior buyers do the same. The pattern recognition filter. Have I seen this format before? 99% of outbound dies here. Hey, name, quick question. It's so played out. Then the effort filter. Did this take more than 30 seconds to make? Or is this another generic cold email? The relevance filter. Is this actually about me, my account, or am I just one of 2,000 contacts in their CRM? And even if you are one of 2,000, even if they are one of 2,000 contacts in CRM, you don't want them to think that or feel that. Like, let me actually give like a trivial example, okay? If you are on a dating app, okay, and you're speaking to people, and then you say to the person you're speaking to, yeah, you're just one of 5,000 girls. That's going to be a great way to get no dates. Even if you're speaking to multiple people, you still just need to be a human being about it, okay? And that's the mindset you have to go into it, okay? Awesome. So the next thing is the pattern filter. So the pattern filter will kill 99% of enterprise outbound. So enterprise buyers have the most refined pattern recognition on earth simply because they're being hit with outbound the most. They're being outreached to the most by far. So a VPI company has seen, hi first name, I've noticed your company. Quick 15 minutes this week. Quick question, circling back, intro. Did this get buried? They've seen all of that before and they are I'm tired of it. I am tired of it, and I'm not even some massive dream well swanky client. So imagine how tired they are of it. And they have 1,000 things to do. Of course, they're not going to respond to you. Amazing. The next thing is the effort filter. So well buyers can smell effort faster than any other audience, again, because they're being prospected to the most. So when you do put effort in, it will penetrate through all the other forms of outreach way quicker. So they've spent years evaluating vendors. So they can pretty much tell how long something took, whether it's shitty AI, and did a human actually research my company this quarter and the things that go on in our industry. That is so apparent. It happens almost just as quickly, not quite as quickly, but happens almost just as quickly as whether they're going to respond to or not. Like, that happens in a split second. They can figure out whether this is worth giving time to in a split second as well. And you have to be able to hit on all those points. The next thing is the relevance filter. So well buyers know, they know when you're just another row in your CRM, okay? When you have a well client or a well buyer, you need to make them feel special. Like, some people will say, no, I can just send them a cold email with a good offer. Yes, but having a good offer is a given. It's a prerequisite. It's a requisite. Everybody should have a good offer. Of course you should have a good offer. So instead of relying on just your offer, why don't you just go above and beyond and you do something that no one else is going to do, and you make them feel special, and they'll be far more likely to speak to you. It's the exact same way in a romantic context you're going to make your partner feel special. Why would you not want to do that? It's going to lead to outsized returns. Do the exact same thing in a business context. So the relevant filter asks one question. Is this about me and my account, or about a segment we happen to be in? So like, let's say, for example, you're targeting real estate syndication firms, okay? You want to target the top real estate syndication firm. So your research needs to be just about that one particular real estate syndication firm, okay? You can't utilize the exact same research, the exact same hook, the exact same script for one person did for another. Like, you can't. It's not going to land effectively. And if I go back to the dating example, which seems to be the theme of this video, if you're going to get a present for someone, it needs to be particular to that person. You can't reuse the present unless you're a Machiavellian weirdo. Do you get the idea? Cool. Awesome. So most enterprise outreach trips this filter immediately because it's written for the VP of marketing. They're not a VP of marketing. They're a human being, then they're a VP of marketing, okay? So you always need to think what's actually going to be relevant to this person. Then there's the forward filter. Even if you survive the buyer's brain, which is a wasteland in itself, you still have to survive the forward, then forwarding it to the team, then forwarding it to the other C-level suite members, et cetera, okay? And this is the part where a lot of outbound can completely die, because the thing is that a lot of people talk about competition. They say, oh, our biggest competitor is the person on the street. No, it's not. The biggest competitor that you have is inaction, especially in a B2B context. Inaction is far easier for a prospect to do than to invest their money. And if we're keeping it frankly, if we're keeping it honest, is risking their money, okay? It's way easier to do inaction than to risk their capital. Which is why you'll hear the next quarter, after this hire, next. Just, there's no urgency, there's no sense of timing. So what we have to do is you have to make sure it goes through their team, their boss, if it's going up vertically, procurement, possibly legal, etc. So your asset has to survive that journey completely. Oh my gosh, there's a bloody earthquake. There's an earthquake happening as I do this YouTube video, whatever. You know it's real, rugged and raw. All right, cool. So a weak asset gets dismissed in Slack and it won't actually be sent over to people, okay? But you need to make sure that your asset is going to go through the entire team. I always say to myself, will this outreach be sent to their team members, their partner, their friends, their family? Because if you can literally go from that standard, you're going to be able to close them. You're going to be able to put the meeting and make it happen, okay? Awesome. So why effort is the only currency left in enterprise outbound. So this is interesting because everybody's utilizing, as I always talk about, I talk about this a lot in my content, that people are utilizing AI and cold email and they're just doing things from a very generic perspective. And you need to do the opposite. You need to utilize effort to defeat all those people, okay? And everybody loves effort. Effort is always, I always say this, effort's always sexy. There's no context where putting in high effort isn't appealing to people, okay? And I cannot think of a better time to put in max effort than to sign your dream client. Like, why was you not putting max effort? So look at what every other team in your space is running. Same cold emails, same AI, same SDR scripts, same LinkedIn nav sales data. They're utilizing the same tactics, same methods, and same data, getting the same results. We don't want the same results, okay? And your buyers are receiving multiple of these outreaches. And effort is the only signal that defeats all four of these filters at once. And that's why the pattern filter, the effort filter, the relevance filter, the forwarding filter literally is defeated. They're all defeated when you create something remarkable. That's why it's so much more simple to just create something ridiculous and send it to them than to have to do all this crazy clay automation signals work. No, let's strip it down. The point of outreach is to book meetings and sign clients and think about human beings first. That's all you have to do. And I've been able to cut through all of that without having to learn all the different clay and all these frankly ridiculous automations, because I just think about them as a human being first and then everything else is downstream, if that makes sense. Amazing. So here's the anatomy of an outreach that survives enterprise. Number one, layer one, account research. So you understand their business as a whole. Layer two, personal research. You understand what makes them tick. If they love F1, you can mention F1 in the outreach. Signal research. What's going on in their business? Are they hiring? Why are they hiring? What's frustrating them? What are they struggling with? What are they looking to do next quarter? Those are the important things. And the vehicles that I love to use to land enterprise is I have something called super looms. So these are videos that have worked super well. Another thing that's worked super well is physical goods. So you actually send them something in the post. Another one is insane stunts as well. And I haven't actually done this myself, but you can see here that this startup flew a plane, crazy health and safety. And they also sent pizzas to prospects as well. And that works super well. But the key point is that creativity, being creative will get you so above and beyond than every other AI automation sequence can get you, because you're doing things that stops them in their tracks and makes them think, what is this human being about? They've gone so above and beyond. I have to speak to them. Awesome. Now, all that being said, I want you to watch this next video because it breaks down these processes and how you can apply it to your business.